I hope Mr. Bingley will like your hat, Lizzie.
We are not in a way to know what Mr. Bingley likes, since we are not to visit.
But you forgot, Mamma, that we shall meet him at the assembly, and that Miss Long has promised to introduce him. Tomorrow, actually, a fortnight, there will be a ball in Meryton.
I am sick of Mr. Bingley.
I am sorry to hear that, but why did you not tell me that before? If I had known as much this morning, I certainly would have not called on him. It is very unlucky, but I have actually paid the visit, and we cannot escape the acquaintance now.
How good it was in you, Mr. Bennet, my dear Mr. Bennet. How pleased I am.
May I offer you this dance, Miss Bennet?
Well, I won't hesitate to say yes.
Splendid. Come on, Darcy. I must have you dance. I hate to see you standing about by yourself in this stupid manner. You had much better dance.
I certainly shall not. You know how I detest it. At such an assembly as this, I would be unsupportable.
I would not be so fastidious as you are. For a kingdom upon my honor, I never met with so many pleasant girls in my life. As I have ever this evening, there are several of them you see uncommonly pretty.
You are dancing with the only handsome girl in the room.
Oh, she is the most beautiful creature I have ever beheld. But there is one of her sisters sitting down, just behind you, who is very pretty, and I dare, very agreeable. Do let me ask my partner to introduce you to her.
Which one do you mean? She is tolerable but not handsome enough to tempt me. And I am in no humor to give consequence to young ladies who are slighted by other men.
Jane, it seems to me as if you have received an invitation from Miss Caroline Bingley.
Oh yes, Mama. I am planning to take the carriage.
Oh no, Jane. How dare you propose such a barbaric idea? You're going on horseback.
But Mama, it seems to me that rain is approaching fast.
No buts, my dear. Now start heading.
Informing us about the poor Jane is sick.
Oh, how wonderful. I was sure hoping such result.
Mama, you're such a horrible person to send poor Jane on horseback in such weather. I'm heading that way this instant.
Thank you so much for hospitality, Mr. Bingley.
You are more than welcome, Miss Jane.
Thank you, Mr. Darcy, for letting us borrow your carriage.
Let us get a move on now, Jane. Mama is waiting for us. Mr. Darcy?
Miss Elizabeth?
I hope, my dear, you've ordered a good dinner today. I have reason to expect an addition to our family party. His name is Mr. Collins, the dreaded cousin.
Who is to inherit?
Everything. He may turn us out of this house as soon as he pleases.
The estate passes directly to him and not to us poor females.
Mr. Collins, at your service. Mrs. Bennet, I shall say that all of your daughters are very handsome. May I mention great interest, of course, to the eldest.
I apologize greatly, Mr. Collins, sir, for Miss is soon to be married. But I shall say the second oldest, Elizabeth, is almost as pretty as my dear Jane.
Indeed, she is.
What a handsome man, don't you say, Lizzie?
Oh, Mama.
Hello, ladies.
Oh, hello.
My name is Wickham at your service.
How do you do, Mr. Wickham? This is my daughter, Elizabeth.
Hello.
Miss.
Hello.
Would you care to join us, Mr. Wickham?
I would be honored.
Hello, sister.
Mr. Wickham, what made you join the militia?
Well, actually, I planned on entering the ministry rather than the militia, but wasn't able to do so because I lacked money. Have you heard of the man named Darcy?
Oh, yes, such a prideful man. Came to Netherfield no more than a month ago.
Oh, really? Darcy's father was a great man. He saw me as a second son. He had intended to provide for me, but Darcy used a loophole in will to keep the money for himself.
Oh, really? Well, that is what I would have expected from him. I'm so sorry to hear that.
Do not worry, miss. If not joined the militia, I would not have been in such ruins.
Do you plan to go to Netherfield Ball, Mr. Wickham?
Perhaps.
Mrs. Bennet?
Miss Bingley.
Charming. I am so pleased you're here. So am I. And how are you, Miss Elizabeth? Are you looking for someone?
No, not at all. I was just admiring the general splendor.
It is breathtaking, Mr. Bingley.
Good. Shall you allow me the next dance, Miss Jane?
I would love to.
Miss Elizabeth, would you like to take my hand in the next dance?
Well, Mr. Collins, I shall say that I'm looking for someone.
Please do me this favor, Miss Elizabeth.
Your choice rather than accept Mr. Collins.
Miss Elizabeth, would you accept to dance with me the next dance?
You may.
I shall warn you, Miss Elizabeth, to not trust Mr. Wickham.
I shall keep that in mind, Miss
Mrs.
Bingley.
Bennet, I was hoping if it would not trouble you that I might solicit a private audience with Miss Elizabeth.
Oh, certainly. Lizzie would be very happy indeed. Everyone, out. Mr. Collins would like a private audience with your sister.
Wait, Mr. Collins can have nothing to say to me that anybody needs not to hear.
I desire you will stay where you are. Everyone else to the drawing room.
But-
Mr. Bennet,
But
now!
Dear Miss Elizabeth, my intentions have been too marked to be mistaken. Almost as soon as I entered this house, I singled you out as the companion of my future life, of my affections.
Mr. Collins,
And no reproach on the subject of future will cross my lips once we're married.
you forgot I have not given no answer.
Lady Catherine will thoroughly approve when I speak to her of your modesty, economy, and other amiable qualities.
Sir, I am honored by your proposal, but I regret that I must decline it. Please understand me, I cannot accept you.
Head foolish, strong child. Don't worry, Mr. Collins. We'll have this little hiccup dealt with immediately. Lizzie! Lizzie! Elizabeth, if you do not marry Mr. Collins, I will never see you again. Mr. Bennet, order Elizabeth to marry the clergyman.
Lizzie, if you marry Mr. Collins, I shall refuse to see you ever again.
Thank you, Papa.
My dear Charlotte, will you take my hand in matrimony?
I suppose. I cannot believe the news. Poor Charlotte, marrying that dreaded Mr. Collins.
Charlotte married Mr. Collins. It should have been you.
Elizabeth,
Why have you been such an arrogant man, full of conceit?
it is in my nature.
You have hurt so many, such as Mr. Wickham.
So you feel his pity.
Then you prevent the union of my sister and Mr. Bingley.
I did it for his own good. She did not show compassion for him.
She barely shows compassion to me. She is just a shy person.
I will put my pride aside and confess this feeling that has been tormenting me.
What is it?
I love you and was hoping you'd marry me.
I appreciate your offer, but you would be the last man I would think of marrying.
So I have heard that Darcy has intentions of marrying you.
That sounds unusual.
Do not play with me, child.
He has proposed to me, but I have no intentions of accepting his offer.
Promise me that you will not marry him.
I cannot promise you anything. Now, I'm going to ask you to leave.
Dear Miss, be not alarmed, madam. On receiving this letter, I write without any intention of paining you or humbling myself. I did not betray Mr. Wickham. He wasted his inheritance and wanted to take mine. I had no intentions of hurting you, sister. I apologize if you misunderstood. I understand if you feel otherwise for me, but my feelings for you have remained the same.
Mr. Darcy, I have to admit that my feelings towards you have changed. I truly love you.
I have spoke to your father, and he has approved of you marrying me.
That's wonderful.